Good morning. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, and we're here back at the two-house project here in Hawthorne. We got our power coming in to serve the main house, the original existing house, and the attached additional dwelling unit. And I was in charge of doing all of the wiring here. As I told you, I'm the electrician for the project. I'm the plumber for the project, and I'm the HVAC guy for the project. And here we got the other power set up here. We passed inspection, no corrections needed. And now we're in the process of completing our HVAC. And we haven't, well, I take that back. I mounted the inverter, which is over here, twice. Twice. You know, I mounted, I think, let's see. I mounted it here first on the right-hand side of the unit, and then I mounted it to the left. And I mounted it here, and because of the relative proximity of the unit to this window, the owners didn't like it. Then I mounted it here, and they didn't like that one either. I can't remember why. So what we're gonna do now, folks, is they want it, and you can maybe kind of even see where the old holes and everything, we patched them up and smoothed them out. We're gonna move it over here and up. So it'll be about 7 feet off of the finished grade of the, it's gonna be concrete all the way around the perimeter of these houses. So we're gonna be about 7 feet above grade. And now I gotta run a whole bunch of pipes and wires that to me is gonna look kind of jinky, but what are you gonna do? Gotta do what we're told because the customer is in charge. We're here to make them happy. We're here to do what they tell us to do. And we're going to do it to the best of our ability. That is for sure. And so here we go. This system is almost complete. I did all of I set the stand, set the unit on the stand, ran all my refrigeration lines. I'm going to have to tidy these things up. Some of the tape's coming off. I'm going to hopefully get a metal sleeve cover and figure out a way to dress this thing up to make it look good. This is gonna come, we're gonna put a junction box here, and then from here we're gonna run another set of wires and hopefully get them behind my refrigeration lines to plug into that cover that has all of the electrical controls to this system. And then we're gonna run one more, we're gonna set a box here, and then we're gonna run a flexible conduit behind here, and that'll actually power up the unit. So it should be a pretty clean install. You guys will see it when it gets all done. But now we're gonna go inside and take a look at the progress of the work in here. We had to make a couple of little alterations after the drywall is left to get everything the way we needed it to be. So the finish of the walls is not quite complete. And as you guys can see, we still got cabinetry that needs to be installed in the bathrooms. The kitchen cabinetry is fairly complete. So we just gonna, they had to reconfigure here because they had a refrigerator opening that just was not gonna allow a good sized refrigerator to fit. And even though this is no longer centered, we waited about 7 months for the actual kitchen layout to be laid, even though the plans had dictated it. I mean, my business partner and I, we took painstaking, we took at least 2 hours over here dealing with this apartment or this house and the attached house to make sure that this is going to be exactly where we needed it to go, because it's going to be one of those tubular where you have a square channel and then you're going to have an exhaust vent, and it's almost like freestanding. And now this is kind of off center. So we're not in charge. I know how to make a good correction to where it's not a big deal to deal with, but if they hire us to do that, then we'll have to charge them for that. But anyway, just pointing that out. But today we got to finish putting in all the covers here. We can't do anything over there because they're going to have a granite backsplash. So all of those are in. We just got to do our makeup of the sub panel here. Trim out the shower. Install the lighting trim. There was a partition here to separate, and they were gonna have like a pocket door to separate the toilet from this room, and basically the exhaust fan would continue to pull, you know, the farts. We call them fart fans in the business. But they decided they wanted to have an open bathroom floor plan. It's just one bathroom for a 3-bedroom. But here we got lighting that needs to be completed. We did all the cutouts, and as you guys can see, we've got our air handler up here. It's ready to go. It's all piped in. Air handler number 2, piped in, ready to go. And air handler number 3, piped in, ready to go. And then air handler number 4. And I don't know if you guys can see kind of the discoloration and all of that. I don't know what happened, but there were a lot of defects. All we did was the cutout. Oh, this is what happened. When we did the cutout, we got the unit installed, and then when the drywallers mudded everything back, the actual trim that covers this, the finish, here it is, here's the trim right there. It had some real jagged edges where the trim board actually rests to the surface of the drywall. So we had to remove it and smooth it out to where when we put the cover on, the only thing you're gonna see is a smooth ceiling all the way around that ceiling gasket that's on the trim. In fact, I'll show you the ceiling gasket here so you can see what I'm saying. Yeah, this thing doesn't, like, it doesn't sit flush to this edge. It's gonna sit flush to this. And so when I actually installed this on the ceiling, it was just really rough looking, nasty edges to the drywall. So what I did, now that we smoothed it out, when we set it on the ceiling, it'll look like that. This is what we want it to look like, nice and smooth, you know, just a shadow and a nice clean line. That's what we're trying to achieve up there. So we're gonna get that together, and we should be repainting this area over to blend everything in, because there were a lot of defects that needed to be mudded in and sanded. So that's another issue we got to deal with. But after I take care of cleaning and getting all my tools out of here, getting the trims in, then we'll go ahead and paint everything here. And the job site does look a lot better, but it could look way better, but we're so close to the finish, I'm not worried so much about it anymore. But here we go. Yeah, you guys can probably see a lot of touch-ups. There are a lot of touch-ups all around here. The last time I think we did a video, you probably didn't notice, but all of the lights are at a certain height going all the way around. But these 2 plugs, they were a little bit lower because we forgot to raise them up. So I ended up raising them up a couple days ago, got everything mudded in, sanded, it's ready to go. This one should be a lot better than the last one, because the unit that I did in the other house was the first one I installed. This is the second one. So I knew I was gonna have some issues with that ceiling gasket. So I basically remudded this and smoothed it out. So, and then we have the owner, they picked this sink for the install here, and with the heights that I originally had for the hot and cold as well as the drain, it bumped into this wooden board here. So I ended up having to raise them up. So once I raised them up, I remounted the walls, and the walls started to look pretty flat again, folks. Yeah. So not only do I do HVAC, mechanical, and plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, excuse me, I do good plaster work. And the drywallers, they didn't do as good a job as they could have. So me and another gentleman, we came in and we're starting to refinish the walls and get everything together. And here I put in almost my finish. I think I'm gonna lightly sand these edges and really blend it in nice. And this one took a little bit longer because unlike all the other units throughout these two houses, this one, the drain and the wiring and all of that swung to the left side of the unit. All the other ones swung to the right. So I ended up having to do some brazing, some copper brazing, which is like welding copper tubes together to extend the actual hose connections that came, you know, out of the box. Yeah, here we did the same thing. I should have done a separate video showing you guys the process of installing each of these air handlers, but I'll do that the next time we do another job. We got, like I said, 4 more houses coming once we get this one done. And yeah, we trimmed this one out. I trimmed this one out yesterday. Still have to set up for the toilet. We got to do the cutouts for the lights. A lot of stuff still left to do here. But I believe after today, we'll be able to remove, I'd say about 80% of all my tools and equipment and get this place cleaned up, and maybe even remove some of the, no, we're not gonna remove any paper. We still got painting to do. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update on this, and hopefully we'll be out of here in the next 2 weeks. Talk to you soon.